everybody, Sticks here at the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I'm really excited. I'm bringing you my first break deck from the Steam Siege expansion, and that is a deck centered around Talonflame break. Now, before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, what is your favorite break card? Now, this could be from any set since breaks came out. I think that was Breakthrough when they were first introduced. And if I had to choose mine, I think it would have to be Zoroark Break from that first set, just because that foul play attack is so cool, and there is nothing better than rushing in, or standing in, I guess is the ability that Zoroark has. Rush in is Keldeo EX. But standing in on something like a Seismitoad or something else, and then going for a single energy grenade hammer or another huge attack. So, I mean, I just love that card. I love foul playing it. I also love that it gave Zoroark the ability to have a lot more HP, so it isn't just knocked out by a simple attack. I mean, 100 HP is good, but it is knocked out by a lot of attacks, while I think it's 150 or 140 HP is just so much better. So yeah, that's my favorite break card. Leave yours in the comment section below. But anyway, onto the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Talonflame break from Steam Siege with the Flare Blitz attack. Discard all fire energy attached to this Pokemon and does 150 for 2. Now, with the fire support that we have, this is actually really good, because you can discard both regular fire energies and then just immediately Blacksmith next turn and have another Flare Blitz powered up and ready to go. Now, in itself, that's a solid card, but I mean, 150 just really isn't enough to knock out a lot of things. If it was 170, then that would be a great enough card on its own. But the fact that we get to pair it with the Talonflame from Steam Siege as well, and this guy is freaking amazing. I mean, 130 HP, which is solid, I guess. Free Retreat, which is always great to have. Aero Blitz attack for 1 energy does 40, which is good. But the effect of this attack, search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them in your hand, shuffle your deck afterward. That is a free teammates just for using an attack that is also just 1 energy and actually hits for a reasonable amount, given that it's 1 energy. Now, you might look at this and be like, well, it's a stage 2, not that great, just hitting for 40 damage even if the effect of the attack is great. Well, Talonflame's ability is what sets it apart and is absolutely ridiculous. This Pokemon has Gale Wings much like it does in the video game, and a lot like the video game, this ability is borderline broken. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you are setting up to play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon. You start with a stage 2, so if you go second, you can immediately Aero Blitz, get 2 cards. I mean, that's insane. I mean, although I know that the ability isn't inherently broken on Talonflame, well, on this Talonflame card anyway, but I just think that is such a ridiculous ability. I mean, imagine if something like Blastoise had that, well, with the Deluge ability and Gale Wings or something like that. I mean, that would be absolutely ridiculous to be dealing with, but either way, this card is phenomenal in its own right, and when you pair it up with the break, you just get a very good combo, something that is very difficult to stop. Now, onto the Pokemon that we are using to support. I'm running a 3-2-4 line of Fletchling, Fletchinder, and Talonflame, well, and then 3 Talonflame break, but I'm running 3 Fletchling just because I want to start off with Talonflame as many times as possible, but if I don't start with a Talonflame, I don't want to leave myself open to just having 2 of my main attacker the entire game. So while I started with a 2-2-4-3 line, I decided to go with a 3-2-4-3 just because if I don't start with a Talonflame, I still have the potential for 3 of my main attackers throughout the game, which is usually all you can get up anyway. 2 Fletchinder, just because, I mean, I'm running Rare Candy, so I don't need to run a full line of the Stage 2, and then 3 of the Talonflame break, just because, I mean, that's usually one of my Talonflames will just be dedicated to Aero Blitzing, so I don't need it to be a Talonflame break, so that's why I'm only running 3, plus it frees up a spot for some more support. I'm also running 2 Shaman, because Shaman is Shaman, and Shaman draws cards, which is amazing, and just lets you, you know, get a lot more consistency in this deck. Also running 2 Flareon EXs. This guy is so freaking adorable, and also has the Blaze Ball attack, which is kind of just a great tech to throw, well, not really tech, but secondary attacker to throw in any fire deck, because even if you just power up this guy with 3 fire energy, it can hit for 110. power that up with more fire energy with Blacksmith, which is really, really easy to do, and it's hitting for a lot more damage. So Flareon is the secondary attacker of choice. Now, onto the items. I am running 2 Level Ball to get out Fletchling and Fletch Ender, 2 Rare Candy to evolve Fletchling straight into Talonflame, and one thing that is really awesome is Talonflame basically is its own Karina in that you Arrow Blitz, pull out a Rare Candy and a Talonflame for your Fletchling next turn. 4 Trainer's Mail because, I mean, Trainer's Mail is Trainer's Mail, helps with consistency. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Seeker to reuse all of our supporters. And then as with the supporters, I'm running a line that you generally see in fire decks, and that is 2 Blacksmith, 2 Lysander to bring those guys out. I mean, Blacksmith just helps Talonflame break after it discards its energy, helps power up Flareon even more, gives it a 40 damage boost. 2 N because N is kind of, I mean, it's a really, really meta-defining card, although admittedly I don't really like it because it takes some of the skill out of late game, because no matter how much you outplay your opponent the entire game, if they manage to like N you to 1 or 2 and it sticks, then you basically just lose because of the luck of the draw. So I mean, that's why I really don't like N. I mean, it's a comeback card, there's no doubt about it, but I just don't really think it's too healthy for the metagame. On to the next card, that is Sycamore. And like I said, I love this artwork. Chespin giving it a nice old hug, and Professor Sycamore not expecting it and dropping all of his papers. But Sycamore getting you a fresh hand. 1 Skyla just in case I need that rare candy. 3 Scorched Earths to draw some more cards. 1 Fighting Fury Belt for the Flareon EX. 2 Muscle Band to power up Talonflame Break. And it's actually kind of cool. With the Muscle Band, Talonflame Break can one-shot a lot of EXs. So that is one of my favorite parts about this card. And also Muscle Band allows Talonflame to hit for 60 damage with Arrow Blitz, which can knock out some Night Marchers and keep you in the game against that matchup, which would otherwise be very, very detrimental. We're also running 4 of the Burning Energy. I encourage you to tinker with this line if you want, because Burning Energy is great for the Talonflame Break Flare Blitz, because I mean, you discard the energy, but you get them right back, but at the same time, they can't be used to take advantage of Scorched Earth and Blacksmith, so I encourage you to try that for yourself. I just went ahead and went with 4 because that's what I felt comfortable with, and then 8 of the regular Fire Energy, because, I mean, like I just said, Blacksmith and Scorched Earth, and it also works on the regular Talonflame as well, which is something that Burning Energy does not do. So I encourage you to try that line for yourself. Don't take my word for it. This is just something that I came up with and I liked using. But anyway, I'm done rambling. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against DW24 with a Psychic and normal deck, so it looks like we're up against a Trevenant Break deck, which actually wouldn't be bad if we get to start with a Talonflame. That actually would be pretty cool. We do get to go first, which is amazing. I'm hoping we draw a Talonflame. We don't, so okay. Now I am 100% glad that I decided to put 3 Fletchling in the deck, because even though I didn't start with the Talonflame, I still have the potential to get plenty of those attackers out. And okay, this is a Snorlax Hypno deck. Awesome. I mean, I even top deck a Fletchling, which is really, really cool. What I can immediately do, I think, is just... Okay, so I have the 3 Talonflame in the deck, and I have 2 of the Talonflame Break. That means 1 of those guys is prized. Just going to go ahead and grab a Shaman to get some more cards. I'm probably going to Ultra Ball for another Fletchling later this turn, and... Okay, there is the Talonflame. Could have started with you, but I think I'm just going to Ultra Ball, get rid of the regular fire, and either way, getting rid of the VS Seeker at the end doesn't really matter that much. I think I'm just going to get rid of the N and then VS Seeker for it or something. To grab another Fletchling, I think, just to have 2 guys almost ready to go. Play that down there, play the Burning Energy onto the Flareon, and then I know it's going to give my opponent more cards, but I am just going to go ahead and get a fresh hand of 6 and see what I can do next turn. So I actually get a really, really solid group of cards. Just immediately go ahead and Scorched Earth. I get another Talonflame Break. I didn't want you, but either way, I'm just going to end my turn right there. I have an energy on the Flareon. I have 3 Fletchling down. I wanted to save the Level Ball, so that I could grab another Fletchling or Fletchinder, just keep my options open for next turn. I'm really hoping that I get a Vespiquen so I can get another N or something like that, because I don't want to have to discard both of my Talonflame breaks, because that would be absolutely devastating. And I mean, Talonflame break will be able to one-shot the Snorlax, which is something that I actually forgot to mention. Well, I guess I did mention that it can one-shot a lot of things, but either way, Talonflame break will be great. And oh good, my opponent just ends me. That is even better. Glad I actually, wow, voice crack, glad I actually kept the level ball then, because now I can still grab a Fletchinder with it. And I wonder what supporter I am going to use this turn. Well, I immediately get the Fletchinder off of the draw. I can go ahead and Scorched Earth, get rid of a Fire Energy, get another Trainer's Mail and a Burning Energy, but there we go. I can just go ahead. Could have grabbed the Sycamore, but I think just going for the setup is better. Just kidding. Should have gone for the Sycamore because there is only one Fletchinder in my deck. Well, there's the other level ball. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Vespiquen for next turn. If I had the Fighting Fury Belt, I would be able to knock out the Snorlax, but I'm just going to go for some very solid damage. Hit for 130. Won't be a knockout on the Snorlax, which is a bit unfortunate. If my opponent manages to Hypno up next turn, he will be able to not knock me out, but get some very, very good damage on me. But I don't know. I still think I'm in a pretty good position, because what I can do is play an energy onto the Fletchinder on the bench and then N to hopefully get a Talonflame, retreat my Flareon into the Talonflame, and then knock the Snorlax out with an Arrow Blitz. So either way, I'm in a very good position at this point. Looks like, okay, so this is a Snorlax Mega Mewtwo Y deck. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that, but I prefer having it if Snorlax was able to be more of the focus of the deck. And oh, would you look at that? Didn't even have to draw it. Well, didn't even have to Sycamore into it just because I already drew it. What I think, I don't know. Do I want to discard the Fire Energy? I could N. I could very well N, but I could, okay, actually, yeah, I like this, because I can Skyla, I think. Skyla for an Ultra Ball to get a Talonflame break, which I can play the Burning Energy onto. Nah, I'm just gonna go for this, go for it straight, and there we go. There is the Ultra Ball, which I can definitely get a Talonflame break with. Just go ahead and grab another Sycamore. Okay, that's fine too. And then, so play the regular Fire Energy there. Go ahead and retreat into the Talonflame onto the bench manually. And then I could Talonflame break, but I kind of want to save the Ultra Ball for when I absolutely need it. Because my opponent currently has nothing that can knock me out unless my opponent gets a DCE. And so I think I'm going to grab a Talonflame and Talonflame break. No. I want to grab a Talonflame and a rare candy. That way I can go ahead and Talonflame up next turn. Go ahead and take a prize. There's another rare candy. So I'm glad I saved the Ultra Ball then, because I can Ultra Ball for another Talonflame and just get 2 of them up next turn and just be in an absolutely phenomenal position. So I really, really like my board setup at this point. And, oh, there's the Spirit Link for me. Could have used that last turn, but I am glad that he did not get it. And so he cannot knock me out with Psychic Infinity this turn. And dang it, my opponent went for an N. Can you not, please? Because I had a great hand. Oh well. I mean, I can still Arrow Blitz next turn. And, oh, would you look at that? Huh. Well, I am completely okay with this. I am 1000% okay with this. This is actually quite the awesome hand that I have drawn off an N to 5, because I can just rare candy up into a Talonflame, play the energy down, play the Shaman, and go from there. So this is really awesome. And my opponent just put 2 Lysander targets on the bench in the Hoopa that can be knocked out in one shot by my Talonflame break. I do have to be careful about discarding all that energy, just because, I mean, I'm not going to I don't have a ton of energy. I mean, I do have Blacksmith, and oh, my opponent's going to Goodnight Babies, meaning I need the Talonflame break if I want to attack next turn. My opponent wakes up, which is annoying, and oh, well, I even get an Ultra Ball off that, so that is phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I even draw into the Talonflame break, so I think I can get 2 other Talonflames this turn, play the Fire Energy there to be able to attack the Mewtwo, go ahead and Rare Candy up into another Talonflame, then I will Shaman to draw some more cards, and then Ultra Ball for another Talonflame. So this is actually a really, really great start for this deck. I think my play right now, yeah, I'm just gonna Flare Blitz, just because I think might have been a little oversight on my part, because I could have just Ultra Balled away the Lysander and the Scorched Earth for the Talonflame, and then Rare Candied up the Fletchling, but I don't know, I kind of like my play regardless. I'm okay with it, just because I still have a Talonflame in the back, I have a Talonflame break on the bench, well, Talonflame break in my hand. If I get a Muscle Band, I can knock out this Mega Mewtwo, and okay, don't even need the Muscle Band. Well, I do need the Muscle Band if I want to knock it out, but this one is actually going to survive, and would you look at that, man, I am top decking like crazy this game. This is awesome. Yeah, I think, yeah, I like that, because I am just going to Arrow Blitz this turn, knock out the Mega Mewtwo, go ahead, I don't know, do I want to? Yeah, just making sure it has 60 health left, don't want to have an oversight, and then I am just going to go ahead and grab a Talonflame and a Muscle Band. I mean, I could have Ultra Balled, but because I was pretty sure I was going to Arrow Blitz, I thought that that would still be a good play, and oh, get another Talonflame break. So, man, I just have a completely great board setup at this point. I mean, assuming my opponent doesn't end me, because if he does, I will just kind of cry. But, I mean, I have a Talonflame. It's going to get knocked out this turn, but I have a Talonflame break that is ready to go on the bench to knock something out. I have a Lysander that will be able to bring in the Shaman or a Hoopa or a Mewtwo and knock it out, take 2 prizes, so I'd only be 1 prize away. So I think my position is just perfect at this point. I think, because I mean, even if my opponent ends me, all that means is I'm just going to have to Arrow Blitz to grab 2 more cards, and he would have to continually end me to keep me down in cards, or keep me from having cards that I can use. And at some point, I'm going to get end into a good hand again, and wow, speak of the devil, my opponent just keeps getting those stupid ends. Wow. Well, anyway, like I said, I'm just going to Arrow Blitz then. This Snorlax will be able to knock out my Talonflame, but I don't know. I don't think it's the end of the world. And geez, how many ends does my opponent run? 1, 2, 3. Ugh, that's gross. That is disgusting to look at, but either way, I will get knocked out by a Toss and Turn this turn. I'm really just hoping that I can get a Fire Energy or something, because that would allow my Talonflame break to one-shot this Snorlax and not have to worry about that sucker. But if not, like I said, I can just Arrow Blitz, and okay, what do I get off of the Trainer's Mail? Ooh, get a VS Seeker. That can go for a... You know what? That can definitely go for a Blacksmith if I wanted to. It can also go for a Sycamore. So I got end into a bad hand, but I ended up drawing something that I actually kind of like. Yeah, Flareon is not able to one-shot the Snorlax even if I do Blacksmith to it. So what I think I'm going to do is... Yeah, I think I'm just going to Sycamore. I think that is my best play at this point. I will be getting rid of a Talonflame break, and I don't even need to play the Flareon down just because that would be a Lysander target, and that has 2 retreat cost. Oh, there we go. All I needed was that Fire Energy. I can go ahead and Rare Candy up my Fletchling into a Talonflame. I can play the Fighting Fury Belt onto the Flareon, and while I could Scorched Earth, I think my best play is just get the guaranteed knockout on Snorlax with the Flare Blitz, because I will have the Burning Energy coming right back to me this turn, and I will just be 2 prizes away from winning the game, and that's really just a Lysander away, because I can knock out that Shaman, take 1 more prize, and almost have the game in the bag at this point. My opponent does bring up the Mewtwo. Even a Mega Mewtwo with a DCE would not be able to knock me out at this point, just because Psychic Infinity would only do 130 damage, and oh my god, another N. I mean, I know my opponent had it from last turn, but doesn't make it any less annoying. All I need is a Fire Energy and a Muscle Band. I get neither, but what I can do is... I can Arrow Blitz. Okay, come on. Come on. Be good to me. Nope. Well, I mean, at least it was mutually bad, but ooh, get the VS Seeker. Huh. I think I'm just going to level ball to get rid of it. I know there's nothing in my deck, but I just wanted to get rid of that in case my opponent played like his 4th or 5th N. And I'm going to keep the VS Seeker actually because one, my opponent will think I have a dead hand and it will kind of deter him from playing another N potentially. And two, I have the VS Seeker in case I wake up so that I can just go for a Blacksmith or something to be able to knock out my opponent's Mega Mewtwo. Or not Mega Mewtwo, just regular Mewtwo. I have to hope at this point that he doesn't get the Mega Mewtwo. That Birch Tails will help a lot, but I don't know. There we go. I do wake up. My opponent stays asleep. That is great, great, great for us. There's the Muscle Band. So I do win. I can just play the Muscle Band onto my Talonflame. Go ahead and VS Seeker to grab a Blacksmith. And then just Blacksmith Energy onto the Talonflame to one-shot this Mewtwo and take home the game. So Talonflame break coming all the way through in this game. I didn't start with a Talonflame, which was kind of upsetting, but I mean, you can't always expect to start perfectly. And oh, there's the other Fletchling or Fletchinder. I could have used you a while ago, but either way, we were able to win that game. That was a really, really awesome game. And I mean, I know we're over 20 minutes, so if anybody wants to just leave now, they can. But I don't know, this deck is way too fun, and I really, really want to start with a Talonflame, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found one against Tathens, and ooh, he has the advantage. That means if we win, we get, what is that, 15 ladder points and 2 extra coins. We do win the coin flip, so that is great. We will get to go first, which is definitely what you want to do in this deck, and I even start with the Talonflame. That is awesome. No, I don't want a mulligan. Huh, I guess they added that because I think the wording on Talonflame is you may start with this, so you have the option of not starting with it, but there is absolutely no reason that I wouldn't want to start with Talonflame. But what I think I'm going to do at this point is just go ahead and Ultra Ball. I hate to do this, I'm going to be getting rid of 2 VS Seekers in turn 1, which is not great, but I think I run enough supporters to where I think I will be okay. Gonna go ahead and Ultra Ball for a Fletchling, go ahead and play the N. My opponent has 6 cards, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference anyway. And alright, I get a pretty... You know what? This is actually a pretty good starting hand. I am just gonna go ahead and level ball to get another Fletchling up. Because, I mean, you can never have too many Talonflame and Talonflame breaks up, and then I'm just going to go ahead and play the Flareon, save the Ultra Ball for next turn to grab a Shaman or Talonflame break, whichever I need, because I don't want to Ultra Ball for a Talonflame break and then not get something that I need, or Ultra Ball for a Shaman and then potentially my opponent doesn't get another Pokemon down, meaning that my Talonflame break would be able to one-shot the Yveltal and win the game. So I'm interested to see what type of deck this is. I mean, it looks like just a dark deck with some other type tech based on the fact that I see an Yveltal, and there's the Ranger. I mean, that full art card looks so cool. It really, really does. And I was actually wrong in my last video. Ranger does not only remove the effects of attacks on your Pokemon, but also on you. So Quaking Punch, screw you. And I'm so happy that Quaking Punch is kind of getting screwed over lately, because I hate that. I hate that card. I hate that entire strategy of item lock. I mean, that being said, I do use it just because it is so dang competitively viable. But okay, so it looks like my opponent is running an Yveltal Vespiquen deck, which is really awesome. I think I did a live with a deck like that, but I included Raichu or something. And ooh, what I can do is see which Combi my opponent puts the energy on, and then Lysander that in and Arrow Blitz it, which I think is definitely going to be my play. I could go for something else, but I really don't think I need to this turn. Do I want to go for the... Yeah, maybe... I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and play the Burning Energy onto the Flareon, and while I could Ultra Ball for a Shaman, I think at this point my best play is just going to go ahead and Arrow Blitz to knock out a Combi, and I think grab a Shaman and a Rare Candy. That way I can get another Talonflame next turn, and then I don't have to discard cards to be able to get a Shaman like I would have had to with the Ultra Ball. So in a great position right now. Okay, my opponent does evolve into the Vespiquen. He does Zero Sick, gets rid of the Burning Energy, but that is great, meaning my opponent will not end me out of this hand, and he will be able to Oblivion Wing. What I do need is an Evolution and a Muscle Band and the Lysander to knock out the Vespiquen in one shot, but I actually think that is kind of possible, because what I can do is go ahead and Scorched Earth. I think I'll just Shaman because I want to make sure that I have a supporter in my hand. I could have very easily Ultra Balled for a Talonflame break, but I am a little bit paranoid about not being able to get one, or not being able to draw another supporter. So, I mean, right there, it was unnecessary because I drew into 2 Sycamores, not just one, I drew into 2. And then I will be able to go ahead and get 2 Talonflames. Actually, I have 3 Talonflames up now. Wow, that shows you how powerful this deck is. Get rid of the 2 regular art Sycamores because nobody likes them. And you know what, guys? It's time to go fishing. It is time to go fishing for that Muscle Band. If we can't get it, no big deal. We also need the Talonflame break, but that's minor detail. Gonna go ahead and grab the Scorched Earth in case I get the Ultra Ball or something in. What that tells me is I will not be able to get the knockout this turn. I do get the Muscle Band, which is really nice, but I'm just missing that Talonflame break to be able to Lysander in the Vespiquen and get the knockout. So I think I'm just going to keep the Muscle Banded Talonflame out of harm's way. Going to go ahead and play a regular energy onto it. And yeah, I'm just going to Arrow Blitz. I could have Lysandered, I could have also Sycamored, but I'm just going to Arrow Blitz, get 2 Talonflame break, get those guys ready to go. If my opponent does not manage to get rid of my hand, I will be able to knock out the Vespiquen next turn with a Talonflame break after I Lysander that sucker in. I'm not worried about the Yveltal at all, or Yveltal, however you want to say it, just because that thing, one, it only has, well, it has, okay, there you go, it has another energy on it, but that thing cannot one-shot Talonflame breaks the way a Vespiquen can, and with my opponent just bringing that Vespiquen out, I don't even have to worry about Lysandering it in anymore because I can just go ahead and Talonflame break it. Talonflame break it. Like, break it as in, like, snap it in half, but Talonflame break... I'm sorry, I'm not funny, I know. And then I am just going to go ahead and retreat into my Talonflame break on the bench. Yeah, again, I could go for a supporter, but my hand is just so good right now that I kind of want to sit on it. I want the option of being able to draw more cards, but I also want to keep the option of having the Lysander available to me, and also not getting rid of my VS Seeker, which could be bad. And alright, I am just going to Arrow Blitz, knock out that Vespiquen, and then get another Talonflame up, as well as a Talonflame break from my deck, as well as a Fighting Fury Belt. And this is a match where you see Arrow Blitz just coming through, getting rid of those low HP Pokemon, while also getting me every card I could possibly need. And you know what? I'm in such a fantastic position, because my opponent has a Shaman on the bench that is just Lysander bait waiting to happen for a one-shot by Talonflame break. And okay, Zorua, that's something I kind of need to pay attention to, because while a Zoroark fully powered up will not be able to one-shot a fully healthy Talonflame break, that's still something I need to worry about. Like I said, I don't need to worry about the Yveltal just because that thing cannot one-shot any of my Talonflame breaks. I mean, it can get 30 damage or 50 damage if my opponent has a Muscle Band here and there, but I mean, I'm just saving that to be able to knock out in one shot with a Flare Blitz, so I don't need to worry about it. I do need to worry about the things that hit harder, like Zoroark and the Combee and Vespiquen. And okay, there comes the Yveltal break, or not the Yveltal break, what am I doing? That's another card that I'm really excited for. But there comes the Yveltal EX, which is another thing that I can one-shot with a muscle-banded Talonflame breaks Flare Blitz. So I am just going to go ahead and Lysander in the Zorua, go ahead and Arrow Blitz to get 2 more cards. I think Actually, I'm just going to flash fire off my damaged Talonflame break just in case my opponent Lysanders that thing out so I don't lose the energy. But I will be able to Arrow Blitz to grab the Muscle Band and something else, unless I don't have a Muscle Band. Alright. Noted. Muscle Band. Do not have. So, I don't know what else I could grab, because I mean, I have the VS Seeker for the Lysander to knock out a Shaman next turn, but I honestly think, I mean, I'm obviously going to grab the Burning Energy, but just going to grab a Blacksmith, just in case. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'll need it, but yeah, well, I definitely won't need it, not with that other Blacksmith, but I will be able to knock out the vespiquen next turn with, actually, I don't have the Muscle Band, so I'll need to Flare Blitz, which is not something I want to do, but I don't know. I'll still be okay just because will I be okay? Yeah, I should be fine. Well, especially because my opponent ends me down to 3. Arrow Blitz is more than likely the way to go, but Flare Blitz is also, I don't get a, oh, my opponent doesn't knock me out. That is great. I think, wow, you know what? I'll be able to knock that out with a Muscle Banded Arrow Blitz and then just have all the cards I needed. So my opponent just scoops right now. I actually kind of fell into that trap too. I mean, you're used to running vespiquen, you're used to that thing just hitting for enough damage to knock things out, and I was actually under the assumption that my opponent, if he was attacking with vespiquen, would be able to knock me out, so I was planning my next move, and I think my opponent fell into that false sense of security as well, because he just went ahead and attacked with it and was like, wait, I don't have enough Pokemon in my discard pile. So Talonflame Blake, I'm going to name my Talonflame Blake at this point. But Talonflame Blake would have been able to knock it out with an Arrow Blitz, get the 2 cards I needed. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.